Hi, welcome to the video. I hope you are having a good experience so far. At any point of time, if you feel like asking anything, you can just post your questions on the comments, and I'll try to take a look and hopefully answer that too. Let's talk about windows in stream processing. In stream processing, things are about handling and processing your input data, input events as quickly as possible. But there are ways to perform these operations. You can perform the operation one record at a time, or you can just club different events or messages together and process them in some kind of micro batch. And again, if it is a micro batch or a mini batch, you would like to club to events based on certain time semantics. Let's try to take some examples. The first example is about a tumbling window. In a tumbling window, you trigger at some specified interval called as batch interval. And the size of the window, well, window is essentially a collection of events which are related or grouped based on certain time semantics. So the size of window equals the size of your batch interval, and one event will belong only to one window, so they are non-overlapping. So let's say this is our x-axis, which is your time axis, and you have a batch interval of 5 minutes, which means you will be running your processing every 5 minutes. So this is the 5 minutes interval. New events are arriving between 12 and 12:05. At 12:05, you are going to club together, process all the events which has happened in the last 5 minutes and process them. Then in the next 5 minutes, new events come in, and then you are going to trigger it only on those new events which has arrived in the last 5 minutes. And this process will keep on repeating. As and when new events are happening, you create your windows based on only those events. So as you can see, one event, one message will belong only to one window, one group of events. And this is a tumbling window. The other one is a sliding window. Well, a tumbling window is important when you say you want to know how many new orders were received in the last 5 seconds or 5 minutes. How many new users signed up to your application in the last 1 hour. So you can have that kind of tumbling windows to satisfy those requirements. But say you have a moving average kind of requirement, or let's say you want to keep track of top 10 orders or top 10 songs in the last 6 hours. And you want to repeat this processing every 15 minutes. So here we have got two notions. One is you want to operate on last 6 hours of data, and you want to repeat this processing every 15 minutes. So that is where a sliding window comes into place. It has a sliding and a batch interval. The sliding interval is used to trigger it, and the batch interval contains what amount of events you are going to process in each trigger. So the size of window equals the size of the batch. One event here can belong to multiple windows, as we will see over here. So again, this is our time axis, and let's say our sliding happens every 5 minutes, but at every 5 minutes, we would like to process the data or the events which were generated in the last 10 minutes. So new events are coming up. At 12:05, we are going to run our trigger, because our trigger will happen every 5 minutes. That is our sliding interval. So let's say our processing is started at 12. So all the data in the last 10 minutes we have we don't have data before 12. So this is the data which we have, and that will be processed. New data comes up, and the next trigger will happen at 12:10, and that will take last 10 minutes of data. So this is how the window size will look like. If new data comes up again at 12:15, will be your next trigger, and here we will be taking data from 12:05 to 12:15. So this is how the window will look like. And again, as and when new data comes in, your new window will look like this. So you can very well see that one event can belong to multiple windows. So let's say this is one event. This is belonging to 1 and 2 windows. So this is here, there is an overlap when it comes to message processing. And so at every 5 minutes here, you can decide based on the data of last 10 minutes. Here again, you can decide based on the data of last 10 minutes. So you can run your processing. So there are two independent intervals. One is the batch and one is the sliding interval happening over here. Most of your processing requirements will be satisfied with tumbling windows and sliding windows, but there are some more complex types of windows as well. Let's have a look. One is the session window, where there is no fixed batch interval. All you have is some kind of inactivity interval, inactivity duration. So you log into some kind of web server or website, you stay there for some duration, and you stop your activity. So a session is marked by some inactivity, a gap in the activity called as inactivity duration. So there are unpredicted periods of events happening such that the time gap between the two events is less than the threshold. We will see that shortly. So there is a period of inactivity which closes a session. So this is our time access. Let's say our session timeout is 5 minutes. A user comes up, a session starts, and user performs operations at 12:02, 12:05, and so on. So as you can see, these activities are separated by less than 5 minutes. And at 12:10, till 12:10, there is no new activity performed. So from 12:05 to 12, so this was the last activity performed by the user, and user has not performed or generated any digital event in the 5 minutes interval. So this is the period where we are going to take all the data points generated by the user or by the device and produce that. So this is one session. What is the duration of a session is kind of unpredicted, but what you can say is when to close a session. So once there is a period of inactivity, which is more than the threshold, then you close that window. So let's get ahead and talk more about it. So this is the point where your window will be generated and you can process all the events which were generated in the last session. Now at 12:12, a new user comes up or the same user returns and performs some operations. And again, after 12:19, as you can see, these 12:12, 12:15, and 12:19, these three events are separated by less than 5 minutes. But after 12:19, for next 5 minutes, there is no new set of operation or activity performed by the user. We start our window processing and we take all the events which were produced in the last in that session. So such kind of windows are called session windows. You never know when it is going to close. You know how to close it, but how long it's going to stretch, we are not sure on it. So again, this is another type of windows which are little more complex than the previous types of windows. Let's talk about the last type of custom sized windows. Many times you don't know, there is nothing like we have seen in a tumbling window, there was a batch interval. In a sliding window, there was a batch and sliding interval. In a session window, there was some kind of inactivity interval which helped you close the window. But in custom sized windows, you don't have these kinds of intervals. What you know is based on certain event, your window will start, and based on some other event, your window will close. So based on some kind of pair of events, your size of window is decided. There is no information on the batch size or inactivity duration. For example, if you are using a cab starts, trip starts, that is one event. And the car travels through different geographies at different speeds and acceleration, makes different turns, and reaches the destination. Trip is closed. So your trip start event and trip close event are the pair of events which decide or which kind of makes a boundary of all the events happening between them. So this is our time axis. Let's say at this point of time, the trip starts and the car travels and goes through different and generates different events. And at 12:12, the trip completes. So once the trip completes, now we are going to process all the events you have gathered from the trips. This may help you in capturing telematics data, where you would like to see if the if the car driver was careful, did he follow the speed limits, did he take any hard brakes, and so on. In short, you get all the data points for a trip as soon as the trip completes. So this is again one bunch of events, collection of events which form a window, but again the size of window and when the window is going to complete and start is completely custom. At a later point of time, a new car or a new trip starts with the same car or with a new car, and some events are captured, and when the trip completes, you then club together all the events and process them. And this is one example of your custom size windows. So what we have seen is there are different types of windows, and in all the types of windows, the one thing is common is collecting together events based on some kind of time semantics or event semantics, like in custom sized windows. Let's examine one sliding window and how we perform processing on them. Let's say we are going to perform a windowed aggregation. Our batch interval is 10 minutes and our sliding interval is 5 minutes, which means in one window, we will be taking events of last 10 minutes, but we will be performing our operation every 5 minutes. So that's how the result table is going to get updated. At 12, our processing starts, our input stream starts to come up. At 12:02, we get a line of cat and dog. At 12:03, we get a new line. Again, we are doing a word count. So at 12:05, my output will be produced, and this is how it will look like, the word count. Now you see the first column is quite interesting over here. When we say that our batch interval is 10 minutes, which is our window interval, one event belongs to a window. It can belong to multiple windows. So this cat and dog, these two words, they happened at this point of time, which falls in the window 12 to 12:10. And this is the word count which you get for that window. So now your key is also your window and the word. Let's say you get new words at different points of time, and then at 12:10, your output will look like this. Now, this is quite interesting to know that the same window has been updated with a new entry, which is out. And the previous entry, which was cat, has now a count of 2. As we move ahead and new events arrive, but before that, this cat event, which happened at 12:07, this belongs to two windows. One window was from 12 to 12:10, and one window was from 12:05 to 12:15. As you can see, this time lies in both the windows. Since your sliding interval is 5 minutes, your window will be, result will be generated every 5 minutes, and this is how the windows will look like. There will be one window from 12 to 12:10. The next window will be from 12:05 to 12:15. And you can guess the next window will be from 12:10 to 12:20. Okay, so let's get ahead and talk about further events. But before that, you can also verify that this owl event, which happened at 12:07, will also belong to two windows. And this is how sliding windows happen. One event can belong to multiple windows. There is an overlap. Now at 12:11, there is a new event coming up in the form of dog and owl at 12:13. And then at 12:15, you generate your result. This is the first set, the first window, then the next and the next window. You can verify that one. The count is not only for the word, but the count is also associated with the window to which it belonged. Well, this is quite important to know. This first part is the window, and the next part is your word count. This is how your window processing will look like when it comes to output. In a window processing, there could be events which appear late in your processing, and they may impact the processing of the previous window. How does that happen? Let's see. So far, we have received certain words at different points of time, and we have generated the output at 12.5 and 12.10, as you can verify over here. This is the same example as we saw before. One interesting thing happens at 12 after 12.10 is we get a word dog, which was generated at 12.04, but because of some delay, it came out of order and it reached our system at 12.11. Now, this word dog can, which was produced at 12.04, this is going to impact the word count of this window, essentially this record, because this may have been received late, but it was produced at 12.04. So here you have got two ways to handle it. Either you handle this word at with time 12.11, which is your processing time, or you handle the word with time 12.04, which is the event time when the event was generated. Let's talk about the event time and go ahead. And there is also a new word coming up. So at 12.15, when you produce the output, you will be able to see that this word which appeared now impacted the windowed result of the previous processing. So this is how the expectation is. In the output, you have to support the update of the previous windows. Well, how do we do that? And how does a Spark Streaming handle this will be covered later on when we talk about watermarking. So in the next video, we will talk about what is watermarking, how does a Spark help us perform watermarking, how to do that, and what are its nuances.